What's good, Washington Commander fans? All right, now I'm starting a new segment, which I was supposed to start it on Monday. It's called "What If" segment, and it's surrounding everything Washington Commanders. So today I put together a "What If" scenario for the Commanders. Now we all know that the Washington Commanders been on a levy of interviews for head coaching for this team after firing Ron Rivera. Um, After the end of the season, we already hired a new GM, Adam Peters. But we already know some of the notable names that's been linked to the Commanders. Actually, Ben Johnson, seems to be everybody's favorite candidate in the Washington Commanders community. There's also Bobby Slowick, from the offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, who shown a very impressive postseason, only to lose against the Baltimore Ravens. And then you have Mr. Baltimore Raven himself, Mike McDonald. Now, Mike McDonald is one of the top candidates. He did interview virtually for the Commanders job last week. But now that there's been so much movement with the playoffs going on because Ben Johnson's still there, Mike McDonald's still there. They could meet in the Super Bowl. Who knows? But notably, Mike McDonald has pretty much shut down almost every top offense in the NFL. And yes, that means the 49ers, the Miami Dolphins, so forth and so on. But the Ravens, seat to seat, they want more. So now I did put this together because Mel Kiper came out today or yesterday and he did his first mock draft, um, which he had Caleb Williams going to the Bears. At number two, he had the Commanders picking Jaden Daniels, which is my favorite. I love Jaden Daniels. I think to me he has some of the very intangibles that Lamar Jackson, Mel Kiper compare him to Randall Cunningham. I can see a little bit of that in him also. I think he just as talented or as Caleb Williams, but everybody, Caleb Williams is a hometown boy, just like Chase Young, just like Jonathan Allen from that era, so forth and so on. But that doesn't mean because he's from the hometown era that he's going to be everything that we thought he is in college. Yeah, he's not a bad talent. He is a great talent. But I just think Jalen Daniels, his ceiling is a little bit higher because he is a dual threat quarterback. He is that guy that can make the plays and he can run. And we seen how that translated in the NFL with, Mike Lamar Jackson. But I'm gonna get to Jaden Daniels in a minute. I just want to go down the line. Now, say Mike McDonald was to be the head coach for the Washington Commanders, and he did pick. Me personally, I think it Mike McDonald be the head coach. I think he could be the head coach. Depends on what he does. If he wins out the Super Bowl, I think Mike McDonald is going to be the head coach for the Washington Commanders. That's no doubt in my mind. If he goes out and wins the Super Bowl, he's going to be the next head coach. Um, Now, who will be his offensive coordinator? That begs the difference because there are a lot of other guys out there that he could probably bring from the staff, like his quarterback coach, or he could bring an old notable name, someone like Greg Roman. Now, Greg Roman had interviewed with the Bears. I do believe the Bears do. The Bears brought in Cliff Kingsbury also. They interviewed Caleb Williams. I mean, not Caleb Williams. They interviewed Greg Roman, but they picked they guy. So if Mike McDonald was to be the head coach of the team, and we select not Caleb Williams, but Jaden Daniels, number two overall, and and we grab somebody like Greg Roman that has ties to Baltimore also. Um, work with Lamar Jackson, had built a offense, but the only thing about Greg Roman is that his offense is so run heavy, and I don't think you will want Jaden Daniels to do that as much. But now, nonetheless, you know, Lamar did it for so long, but can it translate to the next level? And that's where you probably gonna want a really good quarterback coach to come in to help the offensive coordinator translate. And I think now that Greg Roman, since he didn't coach for any team this year, after being let go by the Ravens last year before they moved on to Tom Moken from the offensive coordinator from Georgia. Now, I wanted Greg Roman to be the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders last year because I think we would have been able to run the ball more than pass the ball more. And we've seen how that has happened. Um, we see how that translate because we passed the ball so much this year and we didn't rely on the running game enough. And I think Greg Roman can do that, take the pressure off of Jada Daniels and get him some pass plays. We do have the receivers there that we could pass the ball to. Unlike Lamar, he didn't have weapons early on in his career with the Ravens, and that's why they were so run heavy with that team. But now, if you look at the Ravens, they can run the ball really good and they can pass the ball really good. So that's something that I think is going to translate with us if that was to happen. So again, this is a what if scenario. This is not my take and say this is going to happen. This is a what if scenario. So I want y'all to kind of like indulge your mind and open up to the possibility. Say, hey, this maybe can work. You know, a young quarterback, build him up, and then, you know, add more things around him. And you have to have a great tight end. And you got to think. So now like I said, Mike McDonald could be everything that the Washington Commanders look for. He's young, 36 years old. He was Jim Harbaugh's defensive coordinator in Michigan. You saw how the Michigan defense is. After moving on for them, they still good. I do believe that we will be tougher. We will be a little bit more physical because Mike McDonald will be able to focus solely on defense and then have an offensive coordinator and a quarterback coach that could run the offense and groom your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Because Greg Roman would be the perfect. To me, I think Greg Roman would be the perfect fit because he could implement some of the things that he did with Lamar with Jaden Daniels, and also Mike McDonald. He could do some of the stuff that he could take from Tom Moken and bring it and help say, hey, Greg, utilize some of this skill set like that, mix and match a little bit more. To me, I feel like this is a no-brainer. It could work because you have two guys that's tied to the Ravens organization. You got a quarterback that has almost the same similar traits as Lamar Jackson. Now, a lot of people are complaining about Jaden Daniels being too small because he's 210. But if you listen to Miles Kiper, Jaden Daniels put on more weight from Arizona State, Arizona to LSU. He was 180 something when he was at Arizona, and then when he moved up to LSU, he put on more pounds, so he was at 210. Not saying that he's not going to put on more weight because when Lamar came out of college from Louisville, he was 211. So, and Lamar is pretty much a little bit heavier now. So, weight is not going to always be an issue. And a lot of people say, oh, he take too much hits. Well, Lamar was taking a lot of hits too early on. But that just goes to show that you got to teach this young man and teach him well. Now, I'm not saying that Bobby Slowick, I'm not saying that Ben Johnson can't do the same things with Jaden Daniels, because I think Jaden Daniels, to me, is a no-brainer. Now, some say that, well, if Ben Johnson became the offensive coordinator for the Commanders, we're gonna pick Drake May. But guess what? Drake May is a little bit taller than Sam Howell, and his numbers ain't that good. His numbers is exactly how Sam Howell was when Sam Howell last year at the University of North Carolina. But how can you deny Jaden Daniels when Jaden Daniels ran away with the Heisman this year? Everybody thought it was Penix. Everybody thought it was Bo Nix. Everybody thought it was Caleb Williams again. Even Drake May name was called up in there. But guess who came out of nowhere? Jaden Daniels. He had 40 touchdowns total, and only what 3, 4 interceptions. So, and Caleb Williams won the Heisman last year, and he had a down year in a conference that they didn't have a defense, and they couldn't stop nobody. They put up points, but they couldn't outscore a lot of people because their defense couldn't hold up. But Jaden Daniels is proven because he played in the SEC, Alabama, all of these guys, Georgia, all of these guys, Tennessee, all of these guys. So I think Jaden has the more upper hand because you got to think he went to the same college, transferred to the same college that Joe Burrow did. Joe Burrow left Ohio State. Guess where he ended up at LSU, and eventually he won a national championship with LSU that year too. So there's a lot of connections there. So maybe, um, maybe Mike McDonald, if he was to get the job, he could find a different offensive coordinator, or he could say, "Well, hey, Gray, let's work together. Let's build this. Let's groom this. See how it looks in year one, and then add more to year two to be a little bit more dynamic because it will take time." I don't see nothing wrong with this combination working for Washington because, as we have heard, that what Josh Harris do want to model their team like the Baltimore Ravens. So what way to go and just have a whole connection from offense with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I haven't touched on the thing about defense yet because I do have my defensive pick. My number one pick is Wink Martindale, but I would do a whole separate video on defensive coordinators, and that probably will I would probably bring that to y'all tomorrow. But I just want to indulge a little bit about what um, this could look like for the Washington Commanders. Now I'm gonna go back a little bit. Like I said, Greg Roman, he interviewed and for the Bears job, but we don't know what's going on with that. So I'm probably gonna do a little snippet read for y'all just to catch y'all up a little bit. The Chicago Bears interviewing Greg Roman for their vacant OC job today, but like I said, that's already closed down because they already got it. Ray Roman served as offense coordinator for the Ravens for 4 seasons, including a 2019 campaign where quarterback Lamar Jackson's won MVP honor. So that he has a track record for that because he helped Lamar got to the MVP level that year. And they was 13-2 while he was completing 66.1% of his passes, throwing only for 36 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So that's a hell of a season for Lamar under Greg Roman. So the Greg Roman can't coach. And just imagine him taking that and applying that to Jaden Daniels. Come on. Importantly, Jackson also rushed for a career high 1,206 yards that season. So he had over 1,000 yards, and he's still breaking records now because this is his third straight playoff game that he had 100 yards. Nobody has not did that. Not even Michael Vick, not even Randall Cunningham, not even Josh Allen has. So um, along along with the pattern of Roman's offense being run oriented, according to Chicago Bears insider Josh Sharp. Roman reassigned his resigned his post after the Ravens lost the wild card round earlier this season. That was last season, rather, and skipping the 2003 season before his time in Baltimore as offensive coordinator. But he was offensive coordinator with the Ravens, 49ers, and the Bills. So he's been in great organizations. You know what I'm saying? So he has to. To me, I think that's where Ron Rivera messed up. Instead of going for Eric Bieniemy, and I understand why, because him and Eric Bieniemy, I mean Ron Rivera and Andy Reid are friends, so they wanted to look out for Eric Bieniemy, give him a chance to prove himself. Well, that was a disaster. You see how that went. Speaking of Eric Bieniemy, I'm gonna throw this little tad bit in there. Eric Bieniemy did interview for the head coaching job, but that's another separate video of all the guys. I'll just run down probably on the Friday episode. Who knows? Anyway, but now that the Chicago Bears, have the number one pick, it was only fitting, what I'm saying. So, but the Seahawks, but the Bears did hire Seahawks offense coordinator Shane Warner. He was the 49ers passing coordinator and so forth and so on. But you look at the numbers that Lamar Jackson had under Greg Roman. Now, like I said, Greg Roman, his only thing is because he runs the ball. He's a very run dominant guy. Now that could bode well a lot for Jalen Daniels, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you get another receiver and you add a tight end with the wide receivers that we already have, say that you bring a Curtis Samuel back, or you said no, we bring in somebody like a Tyler Boyd or a T. Higgins, you know what I'm saying? Or you can bring Samuels back on the cheap, and then get a bigger receiver. Who knows? But you'll have more dynamic weapons on the outside than Lamar did during that time, because Lamar go-to guy was Mark Andrews. So you're gonna need a good tight end so he can rely on that and use his legs accordingly. So that's why I think Greg Roman could help out, selling him down some. I think Mike McDonald would focus solely on the defense and add the pieces that he need for his defense and allow Greg Roman, and don't know who will be the quarterback coach, because then that also plays a whole part of developing your young quarterback, especially straight out of college. And Greg Roman has a history firsthand dealing with Lamar straight out of college. So to me, it's only fitting to see this trio together and bring the Baltimore vibe into DC to the Commanders. So that would be good. Now, like I said, this is my first segment of What If. I try to do an episode of What If every Monday or every other Monday, depends on what news. So I'm always going to have scenarios that I will throw out in my head, and to pick your brain or whatever the case might be. But tell me what you think about Mike McDonald, Jaden Daniels, and Greg Roman pairing up to be a force in DC. So to me, like I said before, I think that Greg Roman and Mike McDonald will be a perfect match with Jaden Daniels, because it will serve so much of an insight of how you build a squad. Now, like I said, everybody's favorite is Ben Johnson, because they seen what the Detroit Lions is doing right now, and lo and behold, the Detroit Lions upsets San Francisco this weekend. That would be crazy for the city of Detroit. But like I said, Mike McDonald, the defense coordinator for the Ravens, has shut down all of these offenses this year. So it's not going to be a tall feat beating this Ravens team, because they are complete. But I would love to see Mike McDonald have a Jaden Daniels and Greg Roman bring um, that vibe over to the Commanders, and see and have our version of Baltimore with the Commanders. I would think, to me, I think Jaden Daniels would be exciting. I think he will be more exciting to me than a Caleb Williams or Drake May. Even a Michael Penix. These quarterbacks had, and none of these quarterbacks, to me, I'm not going to say these quarterbacks is bad. They all have different intangibles that could help a team. I just think that the right coordinator, would do wonders for a young quarterback. A lot of people also in the community wants to keep Sam Howell. I just don't see that happening. And like they say, well, Ben Johnson could do this with Jared Goff, but guess what? You got to think Jared Goff is a taller quarterback. He could easily see over the lineman. Sam Howell can't. So go figure on that. But like I said, let me know what you think. This is my first segment of What If, and if you like it, continue to subscribe. Um, Hit that notification button each time I drop a hardcore video. Until then, catch you on the next one. I'm out.